Welcome to Coffee and Tea with SCG, a podcast from the industry experts at SCG Advertising and PR. We are a full-service, women-owned agency that offers advertising, public relations, recruitment marketing, and association and event management. In this season, we'll be chatting with some members of our team about innovation in their respective industries. So grab your coffee and your tea, and let's brew up a good conversation.
Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Tea with SCG. I'm your host, Maddie Trimino, and today I am joined by Trip Albagdadi, our SEO SEM Specialist. Hi, Trip. How are you?
Great. It's a pleasure to be here. That was really good. You did excellent with my name.
Thank you.
It is a tough one.
I was practicing before.
You don't have to say the whole name every time. You can just say Trip.
This is
true. From
true.
this point forward. So thank you.
Perfect. And a little tidbit about Trip is he's actually here for the first time. We're meeting him for the first time in person, me and the rest of our office and the rest of our team members, because he is actually from California.
Yes, San Diego. It is glorious to be here. I had a great flight out. Newark was uneventful. I was in the new terminal.
Nice.
I felt sorry for the Uber driver because it was some kind of traffic getting here.
Yeah.
Like I said, it wasn't LA level, but maybe one or two steps below LA getting here to the hotel.
Well, that's amazing because Newark has not been easy lately. So I'm glad that you had an uneventful trip. That's a positive.
Smooth, on time.
That's great. So we always start off the podcast with the same question, and that's, do you prefer coffee or tea, and how do you take it?
I am right now addicted to overpriced mochas.
You have mentioned that, yes.
I get in regular arguments with my wife because she calculates how much a $7 to $8 mocha is every day and reminds me that I could be making coffee for a few cents at home. We have a coffee maker, and she's willing to melt chocolate into the coffee for me. But I really like wasting that money.
Of course.
Okay. Going to a pretentious coffee shop where they treat me badly and getting an iced mocha almost every day.
I love that.
I have almost no other vices, so can I just have this?
So true.
You know?
You deserve it. And honestly, it just tastes better when someone else makes it, I think.
Oh my God, so much better.
Yeah,
yes.
I'd have to agree. Well, thank you for that. That's very funny and true. It's expensive anywhere you go. It's always cheaper to make it yourself, but I agree. It feels nice when someone else does it for you.
Oh yeah, and San Diego has no shortage of overpriced coffee shops.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So, yeah,
here too.
Everywhere, I would say. Yeah,
it's so true. Well, now to pivot, some shop talk aside from the mochas.
Okay.
We'll get into our first question, what is the current state of SEO and how has it evolved beyond basic keyword and link building?
Okay, it's changed quite a bit. As you know, Google has been very aggressive about rolling out their AI tool. So SEO, honestly, is much harder to do than it's ever been because you used to be able to, way back in the day, do keyword stuffing and link stuffing. Then they put, the kibosh on that because that wasn't best practices. Then you used to be able to put up a blog post, get some keyword-rich content there, do some link building, be active on social media. All those things are very important and still important, but now with AI, the search results have changed. So when you search for something, you now see the AI result, then you see the paid ads, which we are quite often involved with.
Yes.
Then below that, at the bottom third of the page, you see organic search results. Organic search results are results that you are not paying for. Those are the natural results that come up through Google's search algorithm. And in some cases, you can spend all this time doing SEO and becoming a thought leader or, prominent in your field, and AI will come now, take your answers, deliver them to whoever's searching for whatever they're searching for, and they'll never have a reason to go to your website.
Right.
So SEO has become more complicated and harder. And I think that's Google's, not to knock on the great and mighty Google, but I think that's Google's attempt to push people more towards AI and push people more towards paid advertising.
Yeah, and I can see it. I mean, we talk about that a lot on this podcast. Plenty of our guests have spoken to AI, and it really is taking over. So I could see how it could become tricky to navigate SEO with the influence of AI now. How is SEO becoming more user-centric then? And if you could just discuss the importance of the user experience and page speed and, mobile-first indexing, all of those. Like, how can we get into those topics?
Page authority is still important. Where your page domain rank, where your page ranks based on links from other sites to your page, authoritative sites to your page, content on your page that relates to what someone is searching for, your social media presence is all still very important. I would say that things are changing so rapidly that in some cases, having even a Reddit presence, even though Reddit frowns heavily upon any type of advertising or user, just having a presence in as many places and on as many platforms as possible, just in case you get that AI grabbing your answer. I now find that when I search Google, I end up somehow on Reddit, because Reddit has the answer to the really specific question I have. And I know Reddit is clean and free of, it's user-posted, user-generated content, so they'll answer questions. Side note, my neighbor had this weird plant, this bizarre-looking, like otherworldly, alien-like bush, this succulent, and we couldn't figure out what it was. I took a picture of it, I put it on Reddit, and within like an hour, someone posted the genus and species of that plant. It was like an African cotton bush or something like that, but that was incredible. Yeah. What a resource. But I got to Reddit through Google. One of my, not concerns, but we're going to talk a little bit more about the future of search and SEO and all that, but what's going to happen when people just go right to Reddit, versus going to Google?
True.
Google's had a monopoly for a while, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how you would break it up. Like, how would you break up a search engine that is the source for most of the information that people look up every day? Yeah. I mean, I can see how you could break up Amazon. Right. That makes sense to me, but I don't know about Google, how you break that up. And I don't know that the current political system is even able to understand how to break something like that up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and they might not, No. Google is king, as we say here. So it might stay like that forever, for a very long time, because, it's just grown into something bigger than I think anyone could break down at this point.
Yeah, I think Google was the first $1 trillion valued company. Yeah. And then we talked about it earlier. It's a monopoly, but that's good for us because we can reach, a huge portion of the audience in one place.
Definitely.
Versus having to go to all these different platforms. I think Bing, we talked about it before, was about like 10%. Right. But Google has depends on who you ask, anywhere from 85 to 95% of the search engine market. So
yeah, which is huge. That's amazing.
That's pretty dominating.
And great for us, like you said, in the marketing advertising world. Like that's a big component of what we do for our clients. So, we're not complaining on our end.
No, it's kind of nice. Convenient.
Yeah. Convenient. Absolutely. Well, this season has been all about innovation. So what are some of the most innovative SEO techniques emerging today that you could think of?
Wow. That's a really good question.
I'm
not sure if I have a perfect answer for that.
That's okay.
But I would say any place where you can find a differentiator or a platform that someone else isn't necessarily on, that is not just straight up Google or straight up working on your website itself. I think blog posts are still important, but they're mainly important for keyword-rich content. In terms of search engine, I think the most important thing right now would be authoritative link building back to your website from other platforms. And then social media is important because a lot of social media has backlinks built into. When you post something, it's usually good practice, not every time, but to post a backlink back to your website. Yeah. So the more links Google sees from other authoritative sites back to your website, the more value your domain will have with Google itself. So.
All right, so we always want to take the good and the bad, right? So we just talked about the innovative process of SEO. Now, pivot and tell me a little bit about some of the biggest challenges facing SEOs in the coming year.
Well, I can tell you that we talked about it before. If your organic search results are getting pushed further and further down the page, SEO is becoming harder and harder. AI is kind of taking over a lot of the space, and AI is becoming more intelligent, but I don't think it's where it needs to be to truly serve humanity at this time.
Right.
Right now, it makes a lot of odd decisions, and Google has pushed out a lot of AI technology into the campaigns that we run, and sometimes it doesn't make very good decisions. It needs better instructions, or it needs more data for machine learning.
Right.
Because right now, it does some very odd things on occasion with ad copy and images.
In a way, AI can be a negative, but do you think, what would be the ways that you think that it's revolutionizing SEO or ways that it's helping?
Okay, years ago, they came up with something called a responsive search ad,
Okay.
which means you load in 10 headlines, 5 descriptions. Headlines are 30 characters about your product or service. Descriptions are 90 characters about your product or service. And then let it go to town. It chooses the best combination of the headlines and descriptions over time.
Right.
When that first began, it was terrible.
Right.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
But it has learned, and the click-through rates now have improved dramatically. For almost every campaign we run, we're almost we are in the double-digit click-through rate. So for search, the average click-through rate is 3.17%, and a lot of our campaigns are in double digits, which means it's 3 or 4 times the average. And I would attribute that to good keyword strategy, good copy, but also partially to AI taking over with those responsive ads and finding the best combination of them.
Right.
I would say it's very good in that regard. It's gotten good there. There are some other campaign types that I'm not as enamored with. We talked about this a little bit earlier today. There's one called Performance Max. That is almost exclusively AI. You load in images, copy, YouTube videos, and it does whatever it thinks is going to be best for you. One disadvantage of it is it doesn't give you detailed metrics about where your ads showed up, how many ads were on YouTube, how many were on display, how many were in search. So I've talked to a lot of Google reps, and they say they're going to release another version of PMax that will tell us where the ads showed up, because that is quite important to an advertiser to be able to tell their client where exactly this ad showed up versus Performance Max did a great job. We got 100 clicks, et cetera. Where did they come from?
Right, exactly.
So,
Clients love that specificity, and they're always looking to see exactly where something's coming from so that they can further target and so on and so forth. So absolutely. And just speaking of how AI has revolutionized SEO, how do you think SEO can continue to stay ahead of that curve and adapt to the ever-changing landscape?
Wow, I think it has changed, or is changing so rapidly, that you're going to have people get more in tune with answering questions. In terms of people, when they go to Google, they're asking a question.
Right.
So you need to start answering the questions that you think people have, or go and figure out what the trending questions are and have those answers on your website.
Right.
And then people are probably going to start putting references. Instead of a domain or a link, AI scrapes the content on the page. You're probably going to want to start putting your brand name in the answers that you give to things,
Yeah.
which starts to make it an advertisement. Even though you're trying to be an authority on a topic, in order to get anyone to see your brand, you're probably going to have to put it in the answer somewhere.
Right.
Because AI will scrape that.
Right. Okay, well, I'm going to turn this back on you, put you in the hot seat for a little bit, and you've been doing such a wonderful job and been such a good guest, but I want you to think back of a time that you can share a story where you successfully implemented an innovative SEO strategy.
Okay, sure. We recently did something that I'd not done before. It's called a contextual audience.
Yeah.
And we loaded in competitor, I won't mention any client names.
Yes.
But we loaded in competitor websites, and Google Ads created a list of individuals that visited those websites, and then we served ads to those people. That was pretty nice to be able to target directly competitors and find people searching competitor websites and then deliver ads directly to them. And that one was particularly successful. We had millions, I think like 2 million views and a pretty good click-through rate for display. Sorry for all the details, but display, the average click-through rate is 0.46. And for that contextual audience campaign, I think it was 2%. So 4 times the average, which is really good for display, which meant that was good. Using that contextual audience worked because they were into it. They were looking for other similar services, and we hit them up.
Yeah, that was definitely out of the box. That was really cool to see manifest itself. And yeah, the numbers were great. And that was definitely a very innovative SEO strategy that you implemented. So now let's look ahead to the future. What are some of your predictions for the future of search?
I think Performance Max in a year or two will be good enough to use more often. Right now, it makes bad decisions. Not too many people are going to say that out loud,
Right.
But right now, Performance Max is not where it needs to be because you don't have control over where ads show, how the money is spent, what percentage is going to display. Are you going to spend all of my budget on display or on YouTube? I would like 30% of it to go to search.
Right.
Whereas when you run display, YouTube, and search, you can control how much money each of those, how much money is dedicated to each of those. But I think Performance Max is going to get good enough to reach a point where you can let AI take over a bit with some monitoring.
Right.
What I found with AI and ChatGPT is they're great tools. We're all still trying to figure out how to use them.
Right.
At this point, you still need a human being for judgment to make judgment calls because we've had a lot of, and now begins the complaining part.
Right.
We've had a lot of ads flagged for ridiculous reasons.
Yes.
By
that's true.
bots.
Right.
May I give you one example?
Yes.
We were recruiting warehouse workers. One of the headlines said warehouse packers needed for a fulfillment center
Right.
to ship stuff. Google bots flagged it as a violation of the Green Bay Packers copyright
Oh my gosh.
because it said Packers.
Right.
So I have to explain
Yeah.
to no human being. I have to appeal for 2 weeks and then finally get someone on the phone. And in some cases, they cannot overwrite what the bot decided.
Oh my God.
They had the bot make a rule or enact something. They can't overturn it. So I have to change the ad. Not a big deal.
Right.
Warehouse workers needed,
Right.
openings at the warehouse, stuff like that. We can change it, but that's a mistake.
Yes.
Yes, robot, I told you made a mistake.
Yeah.
That it shouldn't do that. And there's like probably 10 or 15 more like that where
Right.
it doesn't have judgment. Another one I was talking about earlier today, and this will be the last complaining one about the bots, was we were running a recruiting campaign for nurses. There was a CPR dummy
Yep.
in the images. The bots flagged it as pornography because the
Oh my
CPR
God.
dummy didn't have a shirt on.
Right.
And it was a man's chest,
Yeah.
and I couldn't use the image.
That's so
And
frustrating.
I could not get that overturned. We had to use different images because it thought the CPR dummy was pornography.
Right. Which is, it's kind of funny in a way because it's almost like you said, we still really need humans to make those judgment calls. Like the AI and the bots, they could be so smart in one hand and so helpful, but at the same time, the human connection, we talk about this a lot on the podcast, like a bot is never going to outsmart what a human knows or what they can see. Like obviously you knew in these campaigns what you were trying to achieve and it was not aligned with what the bots were thinking. So that is definitely frustrating, and it'll be interesting to see if your predictions come true.
Yes, and if anyone at Google is listening, please just give the bots
Help
like
Trip out.
1 or 2 more rules.
Yes.
Just give them some more instructions or better instructions. Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully they hear this. Well, we're going to wrap this up with our last question, and that would be, what advice would you give to aspiring SEO experts who want to be just like you, Trip?
Good luck. Godspeed. No. Learn ChatGPT.
Yep.
Learn all about AI. Learn about prompting. Learn how to use those tools to your advantage. Don't be afraid of them. Find ways to save time using them. I think you might have had me do some ChatGPT stuff. There was one incident where we used it to and I won't
Maybe.
ever stop talking about this, but it just built this whole table for me in like a minute.
Yeah.
It was all the school
impressive.
locations and all their
Yes.
websites and all their addresses.
Yep.
And instead of me doing that for like 2 hours,
Right.
I asked it did it, table, done.
Yep.
Very nice. I need to do
Definitely.
more of that.
Yes, I know. It can be helpful when it's not being silly. It can definitely
When
be
it
helpful.
behaves,
When it
it is
behaves,
useful.
It is, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Trip. It's been so great to have you on the podcast.
Thanks.
We really appreciate you coming and taking this vacation out to New Jersey. We're happy you're here. And another great episode in the book. So thank you.
Thanks a lot. It's been a delight.
Don't forget to subscribe whenever you listen to your podcast so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep those mugs filled and those ideas flowing.